in off season to guarantee some food security for them, so they are not in a position where they have to go and take on loans ahead of the next harvest season. And also training on financial management, because some of them also get these monies. As we're doing all these interventions and incomes and livelihood are increasing, there's a lot of cultural issues around financial management and all of that. So there's a case that we know of, an impact case from one of our funds, that, as they're working with smallholder farmers and their incomes have increased and improved, and they can see, because they've moved from mud houses to better houses, they can see their kids. Some of them are marrying more wives and having more children, and then, basically mismanaging financial resources. So, but we identify that this sort of change is long term. So you have to work through community leaders, through opinion leaders, to start engineering, changes, and as you train them in proper financial management. And of course, the last part is on different risk in the value chain. Many of these have been covered, really. I'm not sure there's any market, processing and distribution market price volatility is the biggest risk. And the reality is, the more a product stays at commodity level, the greater the price risk. So maybe more processing can reduce that. But also in Nigeria, we have an underdeveloped commodity exchange system. So if we have a more developed commodity exchange system, people can forward sell produce and minimize price volatility risk. I think government is trying to revamp that commodity exchange board and trying to do more things in that regard. So hopefully that works and it helps. Processing, distribution, the sort of advocacy that we need there. I mean, to be honest, processing and distribution is big. There's infrastructure, there's distribution, there's even transaction costs, which we don't hear often. I mean, I'm talking about informal transaction costs. So, quote and unquote things, maybe, should I call it bribes? I mean, people are moving their goods from rural areas. You have like non-state actors that will mount roadblocks. You pay and pay and pay and pay. And all of these things add to the price that people pay and the eventual value that the farmers can get, right? And how do we begin to change these things? So advocacy at local government level, at state government level, to states, bringing some of these things out in the open, because many of these things happen under the radar and even the policy makers or the decision makers don't know. And of course, on the planting side and production side, the kind of risk, a lot. Many of it are climatic risk, weather, floods, climate change. Many of it's quite honestly difficult to mitigate. But one area is insurance. And I think we need to start preaching the practice of getting agricultural insurance, because it's still, the penetration is still quite low in Nigeria, right? And there are more and more ag-based insurance products now that help to mitigate agroclimatic risk at that level. I think in summary, that's the summary from our team. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, let's give a round of applause. I'd like to thank everybody for participating. This was a lot more engaging than I could have hoped for, so I really, really appreciate this. Thank you for all your hard work. And like Yinka had mentioned, the findings will also be shared, and there will be another roundtable through which we would have updated everybody from today and what has happened then in about 6 months, right? They're about 6 months down the line. I know our wonderful MC is behind me and he's already putting pressure on me, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you very much, Yinka.
Yes. So for those who are actively engaged in farming, production specifically on the field, and you're interested in continuing those conversations and getting involved in some of our activities, then please meet me. And also, if you're interested in participating at our next CASHEW Roundtable, please meet me as well. There'll be a separate sign-up sheet for that. So yeah, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Look, I think everyone in this room deserves a round of applause. So if you wouldn't mind just clapping for yourselves in the first instance. And then in the second instance, the people who actually had the courage to come up and present the ideas that were collated by your groups. I thought that was good, demonstrating leadership and getting up here, putting yourself up in front of everybody. Please clap for all the presenters. It's not always easy to pick up a microphone and come and speak, and I saw some people here who really struggled with it, but I just admire their courage, so well done. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to a point in the day where we've had to make yet another change. We feel that there's a presentation that it would be useful for us to hear before we go off to have lunch. This will run for about 15 minutes. Can we still cope with that? Yeah? Can we cope with another 15 minutes before we go to lunch? Okay. Well, it's an important presentation, and I'm sure that you would have seen it in your programs. The Nigeria Export Promotion Council, the singular body that has been charged with the task of promoting non-oil exports, they have a lot to tell us, a lot to say, and they're a very useful agency to be connected with. And the gentleman who's going to come and present on behalf of the CEO of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council is someone that I've known for quite a long time. He's extremely passionate, very hardworking, and I'm sure you'll key into the presentation that he's about to deliver. He's none other than Mr. William Ezeagu, who I'm going to invite up now with a warm round of applause from all of you for the preparation and the effort that has gone into him making this presentation. Do we have the slides ready to come up? Mr. Ezeagu, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, participants. On behalf of the Executive Director, CEO, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, I want to thank the organizers for inviting us, as well as also to thank you for participating. The topic you are giving us is on cashew. Incidentally, I think I'm one of the, when it comes to cashew, I think I've done so much on it. Internationally, we are the, we have done so much as well. So what I'm going to show is actually experience, we also interact. It's going to be interactive. I'm going to give you all the, whatever you need to know about cashew sector in Nigeria and globally as well. So it's a pleasure to be here, and please can we just, it's going to be fast because I know you're already ready for lunch. So we just go straight to the point, please. Okay. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. This is the overview of the outline. The cashew sector, emerging issues, challenges, opportunities about NEPC and all, of course, the intervention we have made so far. The next slide, please. Okay. Cashew nuts originally was planted as measures to prevent erosion in the 50s or so, and 50s and early 60s. The plantation was made just because of a constant erosion in the southwest and southeast. So it was actually a tree planting exercise to get erosion controlled. But however, when the fruits are coming up, it become a very valuable product. So you can see as on the board, it's a very important crop. Nigeria presently we are doing about 350,000 metric tons per annum. That is what we make. We produce as a country, 300 to 350,000 metric tons per annum. Okay, and the producing states are, you can see them there. Majorly we have Oyo, Kogi, in that order, Enugu, Abia, and all that. And we'll talk about quality when I go down. Cashew production has been age-long, of course, I just said that, and Nigeria over the years earned substantially from cashew sector. Between 2015 and 2020, the country earned about 284 billion naira, while in 2018, cashew contributed. So it has been contributing substantially to the national income. Okay, cashew is a very, number one is what do you use cashew for? Cashew is meant for, globally actually is meant for as a snack. Okay, if globally you are talking about, when you are talking of snacks, you talk of almond, globally. Almond, you talk of cashew, you talk of Brazil, is it peach nut they call it also? Of course, has nut as well. Those are the major global nuts. But remember that these things those nuts are very good for the health. If you want to eat healthy, nut is the best way to go. So globally, people are moving from all these other nuts to these nuts I just mentioned because they are healthy, even though they're expensive. Nigeria is one of the major producers in the world. Nigeria currently produces, like I said, we produce about 300 to 350,000 metric tons, which makes us one of the leading ones. When it comes to raw nut, when it comes to cashew nut, there are two sections. One is the raw nut, and the other one is what we call cashew kernels. Cashew nut is the one you see when it falls down from the tree. When you pick it, is the nut, what we call cashew nut. But when you process it and take it, when you go to the supermarket, it's known as cashew kernels. So you must be able to mention two of them. When you talk of the HS code, there are two different categories. Okay, these are the producing points. I think we have mentioned the producing areas, which you can also see in your slide. Okay. Now, of course, on the cashew tree, there are a lot of things you can get out of it. You have the nuts, from the nut which convert to kernels. You can also have the apple, which again is very good for it's loaded with a lot of vitamin C and all that. Of course, you can get gum. The most important thing you can get, apart from the nut, is the cashew liquid. The cashew liquid, which can be transformed because it has a lot of chemicals, which can be transformed to chemical, like a chemical product, which used in aviation industry and as well as for brake lining and brake pads, we use to manufacture those things. So it's a very important product that has a lot of byproduct as well. Currently, the apple, we are not using it in Nigeria. Most of them is wasted. You go to Kogi State today now because the cashew season has just started. This is February, February, March, April, May. That's the cashew season in Nigeria, just one season. But we are getting some varieties now that can do can do 2 or 3 times in a year. But currently, most of our current season is between February and May. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is the apple is an opportunity. Since we are talking about opportunities, canning the apple and able to give it a more shelf life is an opportunity where we can also look at. The next slide. Okay, this is the value chain where you can operate in cashew. You can look at the input. You can look at farming. You can look at processing. You can look at marketing, of course, other investment, service, in terms of chemicals, in terms of packaging and all that. So a lot of investment opportunities. You can look at the other input varieties, shortage and all that and all that. I want to go, but farming, I can tell you can go into farming. You can also go into the next slide, please. Collection centers, these are opportunities. Each of those lines of opportunities, you can do collection. A lot of what called aggregation. In export, to call it aggregation. So, for example, you're in Kogi, you want to conclude from here, maybe you are in like Ayangba in Kogi. All the people that come from villages, you collect, and from there you can now give to exporters who can now export, or you want to export yourself, you can export. Okay, processing. I think that's where the value is. Processing is where the value is. So, if you want to convert the raw nuts to cashew, what you do is to have a space, get machine, and from the machine, there are about 5 sets of machine you get in cashew. One is the boiling. You have to boil the cashew. You just like you are boiling something. You boil it, you bring it out, you dry it. We dry it on the sun. After a day or so, if you are using the natural sun, a day, you pack it into the factory. That's where the thing starts. Once you get it dry, now you cook it. After that drying, you get it to shelling. What to call shelling. So you have a shelling machine. That's number one machine we need to have. If it's a small scale or medium scale, the shelling is one you should have. So you get that shelling. When you shell it, what the work of the shelling machine is, you just put the nut in the shell to just break it, begin to break it and get the nut. But remember, the most important thing you can get in cashew is the whole nut. So the machine must be able to give you 100% whole nut. That means it will not break when you're breaking it. So it's important you must go. That's where your money is. If your cashew has anything slight, if you just cut them small from that hole, you have lost money. Okay, so it's important to get a whole nut. So your machine you are looking for is the machine that will give you whole nuts. Okay, the next process you get in your cashew is peeling. Okay, after you must have boiled and take and crack. That's the crack and get the nut. Sometimes it could be difficult to. So after peeling, you move it to what to call the bomber. A bomber where you can dry make the tester. I don't know if you don't have any sample of cashew. I'll just give it what to call tester is when you break the nut of cashew, there's something that kernel, there's something that is covering it, which you have to peel. Just like granite, when you peel granite, those things you have to peel the granite before. Okay, that's the tester. So remove the tester, then you go to what to call grading. I mean, after shelling, you go to you peel. After the peeling, you go for sorting and grading. You grade it according to the sizes. Now again, that is the trick of cashew nut, and that is where the thing is. You must able to differentiate cashew. There is what to call different grades. 230, 235, 245, and all that. That's actually where the opportunity is right now. And Nigeria, particularly, we are not getting it right because we have shortage of labor, shortage of skill in processing. Yes, there's a shortage of skill in processing, especially in this area I'm talking about. We don't have, so if I know investors now trying to set up a cashew factory, they have to invite people from India, middle level manpower, from India, because we don't have the capacity, because we don't actually have the capacity. So this will have to come and train people for 6 months or 3 months, whatever, before they go back. So it's an area that, we are talking of vocational training I think it's an area we should also look at. How do we get people trained? Okay, you can back to the slide. Okay, you can see the process steps in processing cashew: cooking, boiling, pre-treatment, the shelling, peeling, sorting and grading, and packing. Okay, in between that, you must do the right thing, otherwise you will not get it right. Cashew processing system, manual system. Of course, we have 3 systems. The manual system is the one you can do in your backyard. The village woman can do that. Anybody can do that. But the issue is that you will not do volume and the quality will be low. You won't get good quality because a lot of problem. Of course, the one that is more advisable is the semi-mechanized and processing. So some of things you will do manually, some other you do by machine. Again, because of cost effectiveness, that is the best to go. Okay, most of our countries, in the country to that, but if we talk about maybe 70% of our processors, they use that system. But the high mechanized one is the one that is very large, very efficient, but its cost is capital intensive. The Brazilians, that's what they use. Okay, you can do about 10 tons in 1 month. 10 tons. 10 tons in 1 month. 10,000 tons in 1 month. Okay, well, this man will be struggling for 10,000 in 1 year, but this man can do that 10,000 in 1 month. So it's very large and it's very capital intensive, like I said. In this one, right from when your cashew nut enters the machine, you will not see it until it gets out into a package as a finished product. So no hand touches it. So in terms of hygiene, in terms of quality assurance systems, in terms of meeting international standard, that's the best way. So you don't, but it's very expensive. And most of the time, the technology comes from Italy. Otrema in Italy has the technology. But again, Vietnam now also doing technology on that. But by and large, the best technology you can get for the cashew processing is Vietnam, India, and like I said, Italy. Italy go for highly mechanized. That's where they get technology, Italy. But for the medium size is India, Vietnam. Of course, Sri Lanka does the peeling, but there's a machine they have for shelling, which is again is part of it as well. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, challenges. Okay, like I said before, go back to the last. Let's go back. Go back to the other slide. Now, like I said, for you to go for cashew, training is very important. Training is important so that you can know the grade. You can know your cashew. Now, for example, if you are trading on cashew in Nigeria today, Ogbomoso, there's what to call Ogbomoso. Ogbomoso is in Oyo State. That's where you have the best grade. In fact, in India, where they are trading cashew nut, the Ogbomoso grade is a separate. They take it as a grade, international grade. So you have Ogbomoso grade, then you have Nigeria grade. So in other words, that is a premium nut. So it has the premium market. And it's also tied to what we call out-ton. That's what we call out-ton. So if your Ogbomoso out-ton is about 48, 49, 50. That is the grading. But Kogi is about 45, 43 and all that. So what is the function of that? What he's trying to say is that the Ogbomoso, number one, is the nut is better. Two, that it can a lot of properties that it needs in terms of agronomic practices is better than the Kogi one. So the price will be higher than what you get in Kogi. Kogi one is higher than what you get in Enugu, okay? Because of, again, differences. So that out-on is key to buying your product, especially if you are processing. Now, like I said before, once you are trying to process the whole nut, your objective is to get a whole nut, 100% nut. But however you cannot get it, the other ones you get may be broken. Again, there are a lot of names, technologies use that you have the broken, you have the suched type and all that, and of the boots. But the best thing is the whole. So whatever you are doing, your investment will only account if you do much holes. Okay? And I told you again that in terms of breaking, you have the numbers, which I think it should be on the slide later, the grade. So it's important to know this grade and the out-on so that you can be able to function effectively. The next slide, please. What are the challenges in cashew industry? Of course, like I said, the most important thing is the core quality of nut, RCN. Nigeria have problem because when the cashew grows when the best time to get your cashew is that when it falls on the ground. Don't go and pluck cashew. If you pluck cashew, you are not getting the right one. But once it falls, you pick it up, or whoever that gets the farm plantation picks it, and remove the apple from it and get the nuts and dry. Remember, the nut is more important than the apple. in cashew industry, the nut is what we are planning. Is what you are when you are doing a plantation. Is the nut you are looking for, not the apple. But the apple now, because of a lot of things, now becoming valuable, but it can never be as valuable as the nut. So the nut is what you are going for. So you take the nut and dry it and get it on a flat, and dry it there for 2 days or 3 days. Then you get a moisture content of about maybe 8% or 9%. That you can now dry it and pack it in your bags, in the jute bags or the propylene bag you use. Okay, that's ready now for export or ready for it. So if you are for export, of course, you have to do export operation. If it's for manufacturing in Nigeria, you move it to the manufacturer who processes. Like I said, grade by grade. Cashew is gone by grade. So if I know that grade 1 or the grade 2 and all that, in terms of the numbers, it's very important you grade so that you don't lose it. But by and large, Nigerian quality is not as efficient as Benin Republic here. Benin has better nut than Nigeria. Okay, but in terms of West Africa, Cote d'Ivoire has the largest. I think they're the largest producer, but they don't have the best. The best nuts come from Benin Republic. Now, this is improper post-harvesting handling. Like I said, that's an issue. Lack of structure and all that. Limited skill and labor. That's where I'm saying that one is very important. Most of the Nigerians producers, I mean, people who want to start plants in Nigeria, they go to India or Vietnam to look for labor. Okay, that again, which I believe the purpose of this program. Please, can we train more people to come, technicians, middle level manpower, those who have OND, HND, and all that. You can train them to because a lot of investment is going in cashew right now. I just tried to say, but Julius Berger, which who has to do construction right now, they are going to cashew processing, and one of the largest factory in Nigeria. In fact, in Africa, they are doing it right now. So they will need laborers. They will need skilled laborers, but we don't have them. So they have to go to South Africa. I mean, go to India or Vietnam to get people to train our people. So it will take. So I think there must be more effort to get people to do that. Many investors today, because of that's an issue. Because, like I said, if efficiency is key in cashew processing, efficiency. How do you when the women that are breaking the nut, how do they do it that they don't break the nut? The machine fabricators, or in fact, the machines, all the machine we need in cashew is imported, including the basic things, which if efficiency is produced, if our fabricators, if they are trained, well trained on it, they can do this, they can produce machines. So I think that's the area of investigation we should also looking at. Okay, no linkage industry operators to develop skills. That skill is very key because I know what you are talking here. So that's why I said the skill. Of course, the other information. But like we said, because of your time, please, I need to rush. In Export Promotion Council, we have done a lot for cashew. The operators, we have assisted them in market. We take them to trade fairs. We take their products to different parts of the world to promote the products. And that's what today, a lot of them are getting incentive as well. They what called the Export Expansion Grant. Last year, we did also disburse Export Development Fund as many in the industry. So a lot of support is given to them. Okay, you can see this one, you can read it. A lot of byproducts is also getting access. I talked about the liquid, the chemical that comes out of cashew can be used as used in the brake pad industry, used in aviation for this, also in the paint industry. Okay, so training of skill, I think we mentioned it. Introduction of technical vocational education is key. Fabrication of key processing, training people to fabricate. So basically there's opportunities. For today, if you're looking at major opportunities in our agri sector, cashew happens to be one of them. So I employ you if you are from Kogi State, if you are from Oyo State, if you are from Enugu State, if you are from Okigwe side, Okigwe is any more Abia State, in all those areas, a lot of, in fact, in Benue, also in Nasarawa, there are a lot of opportunities. So please, let's pause down so that you can go and take your lunch. Thank you very much. If there's any question, I think I can take it quickly.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. William Ezeagu from the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. I think the takeaway I got from that at the end is that if you're looking for opportunities in the agri sector, look at cashew. And I think that presentation made that very clear. And the NEPC is already supporting. The other area, the other thing that jumped out at me, and I'm not sure about you, is that the lack of skilled labor in the area. And that's what, as Mr. Ezeagu said, this is all about. If we can get people trained, then the opportunity is huge. It's a global product, and it's in high demand. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Ziago. I know you've said that we can ask questions now, but I'm just wondering, we have the panel session straight after lunch. Are you going to join us for lunch? And then, oh, your colleague will be able to take questions. Okay, all right. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, please, I've known this gentleman for a long time. I've listened to a lot of his presentations. He hasn't let me down today. This was wonderful. Thank you very much. And very well delivered. Okay, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your perseverance and endurance through this day. It's been a very grueling morning, and a morning that ends at 3 o'clock is a long morning. So thank you so much for your perseverance. We're on the home straight now. The session after this is going to effectively allow us to look at the opportunities that the NEPC has and how we can take advantage of those opportunities. It's not a session to miss. If you look at the list of panelists, you'll see that they're rich in knowledge and understanding, and you will really benefit from being in that session. So if you could take half an hour for lunch so that we can come back, have the last session, and then go into the home straight and hopefully go away enriched. It's going to be a very interactive session. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, and see you in 30 minutes time. Please, I know it's a bit of a rush, but which says 3:30. So if you don't mind going straight to lunch, so if you want to have the conversations over lunch, please, so that we can be back here quickly. Thank you. Okay. Also, please take your personal belongings with you. So laptops and telephones, please don't leave them in the room, because the room will not be locked. Okay. We don't anticipate that there's a security problem, but please just take it as a precaution. Okay. Thank you so much, Kike. Thank you. Okay, the conversation's over lunch, please. So please move to the restaurant. The lunch is in the restaurant, which is out through the exhibition corridor. Take a left at the end of it through the atrium. The restaurant is the last room on the left when you get to the end of the atrium. Okay, thank you. Congress representative, Mr. William Ezeagu. We're going to just wait a little while for the other people who perhaps are still making their way back to come and join us. And then we're going to go into the final session. It is customary to observe protocol here. As much as I know that the person whose presence I'm about to announce preferred that I didn't. So with us today the program have very eminent lady, former Minister of Trade and Investment, also former Minister of Women's Affairs, with us today. He's also currently the President of the National Women's Wing of the National Association of Chambers of Commerce and Industries and Agriculture. That is the person, none other than Hajia Aisha Abubakar, here with us today. My oh, that is also okay. Yes. Thank you for acknowledging that. Please take a seat wherever you like. Do we have anybody here from the CASHEW Association? Do we? We are aware as to whether or not they're represented here today. Or not. Okay, that's fine. I'm also going to now call up other members of this particular panel, the final panel session of the two-day program. I'd like to call up Tosi Ojo, Sahel Consulting. Is Tosi here? Tosi Ojo. Was that a yes? Is Tosi Ojo here? Oh, okay, there you are. Thank you very much. Please encourage her to come up. Anna Fernandez, MICOP, N-I-C-O-P. Is Anna Fernandez here? There we go. Thank you. Please join us. Shaju, Julius Berger. Shaju is here representing Julius Berger. We heard her speak earlier. Also looking to and last but not least, representative of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council. Please come up, sir. Thank you very much. What's your name, sir? Manuel Matthews. Okay, so this session is going to be moderated by our very own Mavis Ayeju. I'm going to hand over the microphone to her and she's going to moderate. So ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Minister, Alice, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hakim. Ladies and gentlemen, very lovely to have you on. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so today's panel is discussing the opportunities of SMEs within the cashew value chain. And I'm happy to say that I can represent SMEs. I have a small startup myself and I'm a cashew trader, so 30-second intro on what role you play in which supply chain and how you are active. I don't know if the microphones work. Yeah, I think.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Matthew. I'm a staff of Nigerian Export Promotion Council. NEPC is the agency of government under the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. Basically, what the council does is to identify export potential commodities and develop it for export markets. We also try to see that we designed export incentives. Most of our incentives is was export incentives, and the incentive is meant to to help the exporters to compete favorable. Bear in mind the difficult operating environment that we have. I think that is, for now, that is what we are doing in Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
Thank you. Oyin Ashaju, Commodity and Marketing Manager for the Agribusiness Unit in Julius Berger. We are local processors of cashew at the moment, and we are also working closely with smallholder farmers. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. My name is Ana Viñambres, and I'm representing here the GIZ project called NICOP, which is Nigerian Competitiveness. We are co-funded by the European Union and the German government, and our major focus is to increase the competitiveness across selected value chains. We are working with the tomato, chili, and ginger in the agri side, and we are also working on the leather and the garment. And we provide an array of support to these value chains by providing good agricultural practices, farming business schools, entrepreneurship training, market linkages, access to innovation, and other different support under the technical pillar. We also provide them and facilitate access to finance and investment. And in the policy side, we also make sure that all the policies and regulations that somehow constrain the business enabling environment are addressed. So we are empowering cooperatives, chambers of commerce, and the likes to advocate for these changes in policy. So our aim is to make sure that all these value chains that we are supporting are more competitive to trade in the Nigerian market and in the markets abroad. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening.
Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aisha Abubakar, and taking up from where my last partner on the panel said, president of the Nigeria Association of Businesswomen, own businesswomen under the Nigerian Association of Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. And what we actually do now, or we're focus is on getting our women export ready. And we're going to target the areas of cosmetics, commodities, as well as textiles. We're working closely with a number of organizations like the NEPC, POWED, and others to get our women export ready, to be export competent, certified, and be able to export products and services across the West African region in the first instance, and then AFCTA. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tosin Ojo. I'm VP at Sahel Capital. We are an agribusiness investment firm, and we manage the Fund for Agricultural Finance in Nigeria, FAFIN, and Social Enterprise Fund for Agriculture in Africa, CEFA. Together, that's about $95 million in AUM. And we have investments across 7 agricultural value chain in Nigeria, from rice to cassava to sheep, nuts to dairy and poultry. SAE Capital is part of the SAE group, which comprised of SAE Consulting, foremost consultants in the agricultural value chain, working with government and donor agencies, as well as Nourishing Africa, which is knowledge hub for food and agriculture SMEs. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's very interesting to have such a diverse panel with different roles that you all play in the value chain. So since we're talking about SMEs, I think the first question I would like to ask, and things I've personally also experienced, is when we listen to these kind of organizations, it can be quite overwhelming, because when you're a small company, you feel a bit intimidated, right? You feel like, I don't have the resources such as a Julius Berger, right? I don't have the resources. Can I raise a few $1 million? How are these things even possible when, you know, we're a small company of 10, 20 people, for example? So I think one of the questions I'd like to ask is, how can small businesses almost see a career path towards becoming a larger business? How can they be encouraged to step into a field that is dominated by large organizations, large agencies? How can SMEs be encouraged? Let me start with you from NNPC, and especially on NNPC, and it will be interesting to hear how you're also collaborating with with SMEs to encourage them on exports and all that.
Yeah, for us in NNPC, we have been dealing with SMEs, small business owners. Of course, we know that international market requires a lot of funds, a lot of experience, and all the expertise. But we do encourage them not to be intimidated. They should find a way of coming together as a cooperative society. By doing that, NPC or any other government agencies can reach out to them. We have been working with cooperative society to ensure that we, increase their capacity in terms of production to meet up the quality of products, because that is very key. One of the things that we also do to encourage SMEs to be competitive in the international market is to sponsor their certain certification. We sponsor their training to acquire or obtain some certification that will make their product to be competitive. Of course, we had the issue of product rejects over the years. Some of Nigerian products have been rejected in the international market. And when you trace this, it goes down to some of these SMEs. Of course, because of the lack of this capacity to produce to the international standard, we have worked with them. We have built their capacity. We have also made provisions, provides some of the equipment to SMEs. So for us, we encourage the SMEs to, especially the small business owners, to come into cooperative, because some of the intervention that we have is meant for, we can only reach out to them if they join cooperative society. So that is what we do. The SME can still venture into the international market. What they need to do is to get the things right. That's all. So there is a niche market there. So they can walk in. They can also succeed in the market if they do the things right. So in NEPC, we help them. We have a lot of programs that we give out to, that we reach out the SMEs with. For instance, right now we have a program for youth. There's a department that is working to develop youth business, a business owned by youth. There's also a program, a department or a unit that's working to promote women businesses. So these are the vulnerable groups. These are the groups that we know they don't have the capacity like the big companies. You just mentioned Julius Baker that have diversified. So in our own way, we reach out to SME. I think quite a lot of them are also doing well.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Can I have the attention of everybody? Okay, great. Our moderator mentioned Julius Berger being big, but I just want to re-emphasize that, yes, we are coming into the market now and we are not here to intimidate, we are here to collaborate. So I think everybody should take note of that. So for small businesses, I think it's important that every small business must understand value proposition. What is it that you're bringing to the industry? How organized are you? From your standpoint, what are the resources available to you in terms of financial or human resources? Just look at your capacity at the moment. Start where you are. It doesn't matter if there's Julius Berger in the field or any other big person. Every big company started with a small step. Also, in the aspect of collaboration, what value can you offer some of these big players that are in the industry? So I don't think that any small or medium-sized business should feel intimidated, because the objective is to create value, to create jobs, to ensure that we are able to generate revenue for the nation at large. And that, if that is your objective, and that is the objective of persons or players like Julius Berger, why can't we work together? Thank you.
Thank you. I would just like to add, on top of what my fellow panelists said, that for those MSMEs or smallholder farmers or artisans that are starting to think of producing at a larger scale or exporting, there are different avenues to do this. They can come together in a cooperative, in an association. They can get support from different trade associations. There are different ministries and departments within the Nigerian government that can provide different support to help grow these companies. The Nigerian Export Promotion Council is one unique organization that can really support on all these areas. The Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment, they have the trade portal that will inform you of all the requirements for imports and exports. This has been supported by the European Union and the project that I'm representing. And of course, the donor community, there is quite a number of different donors, whether it is GIZ, FCDO from the UK, or USAID from the US, the Canadian government, that are here supporting different value chains. And our major focus is to support MSMEs and smallholder farmers to really start improving the quality, improving the quantity and productivity of those crops that they are producing. We are helping them with the market linkages, with the standards, the certification, so that they can access these internal markets or external markets. So there is quite a lot of different tools that can be used for this business expansion. And I would recommend anybody in this room to use our brains after this panel to just go in particular with their specific needs, and we'll be delighted to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So NAWOG has state, city, and chamber offices across the 36 states of the Federation. And so we have over 2,000 members. What we try to do on a regular basis, at least quarterly, is provide a platform for our women-owned businesses, especially the ones in, we've categorized them in different sectors. We give them opportunities to network with each other across the states, so that if you're producing onions in Sokoto and somebody needs your goods in Kwara, you know yourselves and you're able to exchange. We also have access to common facilities for them to process, because we know as women-owned businesses, they do not have the capacity to own their own common facilities to manufacture their goods. Bulk registration also. So we put them in groups, and we do registrations for them in where they're lacking. So if it is the registration with CAC, if it is accessing an export license, if it's, in terms of documentation, because these are some of the opportunities that, or some of the gaps that they have that they are not able to access. Capacity building, of course, is a constant one. Constantly business management, record keeping, financial literacy.